I would say that for a good 5 years I've been committed to my exploration of the inner world. The inner world, that which is our experience of thoughts, emotions, sensations, spirit, spirituality, energy, feelings. This is the inner world to me. And this exploration has helped me found a deep and secure connection inside myself, of which I didn't have before. I didn't have that before. I was wobbly inside, I was insecure, I didn't know my place in the cosmos, so I was pushed around and wasn't truly free in that which to be me, because the world around me was all scary, let's say. As I walk here at one of the ruins at Angkor Wat, I'm going to turn around so you can have a little look. It's just pure magic. It's not going to zoom in though. Look at this. I'm reminded of just the ancientness of who we are, who our ancestors are, what our DNA is, where we've come from, the civilizations that walked before us. And that to me is awe-inspiring. We're so caught up in this mentality of rushing through life in our current culture, obsessed with these constant screens, always chitter-chatting, tapping, playing games, getting lost in the world and getting lost in the digitization of it all. And when I visit such an awe-inspiring place like this, I'm reminded of just how insignificant our current lives are, how fleeting our existence is, and how something like this that's lasted thousands and thousands of years is remarkable. I mean, we're living at the moment in a culture at the brink, right? You can all feel it, we can feel it. It's at the brink of disaster, where it's creaking at its seams. We don't know what's next. Things are falling apart. We know it doesn't work as it is yet. What do we need to do in order to move us to the next stage? For me, I believe that is the cultivation of the inner world. Like, it's through the cultivation of our thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations, the inner plane, which brings about the manifestation of the physical plane. And so if we don't focus on the inner world, we're not going to change anything out here, and it's going to be the same absurdity of war and disaster and the next thing that just wants to bring suffering to the human experience. What I'm finding in all these temples around Angkor Wat is there's just these doors after doors after doors, which I don't know if they're doors or portals or something beyond, because they seem to make a spectacle of doors where doors don't need to be. There's just doors upon doors upon doors upon doors. And there must have been purpose and reason behind the way they created this. And there is, because of the specificity of the alignments and the stone carvings. Like, this wasn't a civilization that went about building something for money because they were getting paid to create it. Right? These ruins are from a civilization that believed in something very deep. They believed in something so beautiful and powerful and majestic and extraordinary. That I feel like our culture's forgotten about. We've forgotten about it. That place within. Most of us in our Western society have forgotten about that place within. Dare I use that 3-letter word, God? Most people cringe at that word. At least the scientific, deterministic, agnostic, atheist community of which I was part of for a long time. It's like savages believing in a higher power. That's absurd. Savages are so deluded and deranged to believe in such absurdity. And that's it. To believe in something you haven't experienced is, of course, a delusion. It's a belief. If you haven't experienced it, then it's a belief. But belief is nothing but a fabrication of the mind, a thought. But when you've experienced that interconnectedness of all things, your being can no longer deny it. Your mind can pretend that it didn't experience it for a while, but then your being splits into two. And it's like you have one belief in you that experienced this and knows this thing happened, and then you have another part of you which is like, no, I don't believe that, that's not true, no, society doesn't allow me to believe that, my friends don't allow me to believe that, blah, blah, blah. So it separates us, it pulls us apart. And we live in a world right now where we have a lot of separation, too much separation, not enough connectedness, not enough community. We're sitting in our 2.4 children homes and in the West with our nice white picket fences and thinking that's a normal way to live. No, we need each other. We need to come together. It is by coming together that we support, we love, we heal, we grow, we transcend, expand. It's also one of the reasons why I've started doing, and I'm looking forward to starting this MTM method for those of you that are in this channel because you've been living with tics for a while. I'm doing the MTM method now in person on Zoom, which I'm excited about, instead of just the pre-recorded videos, which are great, of course, if you want to do it privately. But at the same time, I'm finding the importance now of coming together. Coming together regularly on Zoom, and I have a beautiful community here where I live in Bali, but I want to start sharing my journey a little bit more in person with more of you, so I'm excited for that. I'll put a link below just in case you are interested. But I'm in awe of this. This is just pure magic. I mean, who made this stuff? I posted a photo of me on Instagram the other day and my friend was like, you got Indiana Jones thing going on there with my hat and everything. It's so peaceful. I actually flew out here from Bali to Cambodia to Angkor Wat because my parents were visiting, and I just spent the last 2 days with my parents exploring the main temples. But today I thought I'd rent a bike and just head out by myself and meditate in some of the temples, which is what I've been doing this morning. See, meditation is dependent on the setting and the state you're in. If you are already in a state of relaxation, if you're in a place with no disruptions, and if you're a place which already has an energetic charge to it, that has been a place of, let's say, worship for thousands of years, where you can go in your meditations is radically different than if you're sitting at home on the sofa with the television switched off. It's a totally different experience of meditation. So a lot of people who watch this channel maybe have just dabbled a little bit in things like meditation. A lot of people that I speak with who are working or wanting to move beyond conditions like tics and ADHD and OCD, they maybe have heard about meditation or done it a little bit but not too much, and it's like, oh, it's not for me. especially ADHD people. Well, I got ADHD, how can I possibly meditate? That's exactly the point. You're giving up that fast. You haven't yet found the technique or the tool or the guidance to help you drop into the state where you can discover presence. And ultimately you need to discover presence if you want to move beyond ADHD. And so the first step is removing our limiting belief that because I've identified myself with ADHD, then of course I can't meditate. But yeah, nothing comes easy. If you want to change, if you want to grow, it means taking action. It means taking steps towards shifting one's reality and belief systems. Where am I? Just so quiet. It's so old. It's so old. It's so old. Everything. It's unfathomable to my current construct of what life or reality is, that it breaks down the mind being here. And it challenges me to see, because the stories that are running through my mind are stories which are kind of irrelevant, probably, but that's the only constructs I have to try and make sense of what's going on here, and the mind wants to make sense of it. And we all do, in all aspects of our life, right? We want to make sense of why that person said that to us, or why we didn't or can't do that, or what thing happened yesterday or might happen tomorrow. Right? And we're always trying to make sense of stuff. But ultimately, when we stop letting go of trying to make sense of everything, which is what I'm trying to do here right now, and we let go of trying to make sense, make it sensical, and realize that reality is not sensical, and it is pretty absurd and abstract and extraordinary. And when we let go of the need to make sense, to organize things in our mind, we let go of the need for that, then we become free. We become freer from the boxes. And there's all sorts of boxes that exist, right? Boxes can include labels. Well, I have ADHD. That's a label. We've boxed ourselves in. Well, what about tomorrow if you didn't have it? Can you imagine what it's like to wake up tomorrow and not having it? Can you imagine what it's like waking up tomorrow and not having these OCD tendencies? Because that's the first step, is beginning to imagine what it's like to experience life differently. And it can be difficult at the beginning to experience the imagination of what life could be differently. But ultimately, it is all mind. Mind is the fundamental force of creation. We could say energy is the fundamental force of creation, energy. And the mind is how we experience energy first. The subtler, and then it gets denser into gross, dense physical world. The ancients knew this. when we look at the rocks in this space here, the design of the rocks, right? It's hard to show you on camera, but how so beautifully and finely detailed they slot into each other. This ain't some like hunters and gatherers creating stuff like this. This is a significantly advanced civilization. This is organized Freemasonry that knew some sort of secrets beyond maybe even we understand right now, how they create these structures. But my point being here is that the style of stonework found in places like this is found in many places all over the world. So there's the same style, it's a very distinct style of stonework found in places like the pyramids in Egypt, and over Machu Picchu in like Central South America, and also over here in Asia, that all kind of appeared with the same style all at the same time. And it's like, how? Why? What's that all about? I like pointing to the belief of Atlantis in the Atlantean times. That's where my mind goes. There must have been something else before us as our current culture that knew things that we knew things about energy and vibration that we've forgotten about, you know? And the more we explore our inner world, I believe we start to see the relationship between energy, resonance, vibration, and physical life. At least in my experience, that's true. And all I have is my experience to share from and speak from. I don't have other people's experience to speak from, so I speak words which share with you what I go through, with a hope that at some level I'm guiding, helping, inspiring, sharing, offering in some way that, wow, it just keeps going on. Wow. Let's keep going down here. So, I think I'll leave it there for this video. Thanks for watching. If you're new here to Inner World Mastery, blessings to you. I hope you're having a beautiful day. If you are here because you've been following me for a while and you're interested in coming together to heal, support, release, let go deeper your tics, motor tics, vocal tics, Tourette's, then reach out. I'll put a link below for this upcoming program that I'm offering on Zoom. It's accessible, it's affordable compared with the one-on-one programming programs I offer, and we're going to be doing this together. Wow. Yeah. So have a beautiful day, everyone.